You are a very successful comedian. You're a very funny comedian, and then you write a wedding book. Why the wedding book?
I wrote the wedding book because when I got engaged, I felt like all of the publications out there for new brides were just very focused on pushing goods and services, really selling the fantasy. And the fantasy is super fun. I fully endorse the fantasy. But I also was like, there needs to be a proper dose of reality. Wedding planning is really stressful and really hard. And my now husband and I, we were like fighting all the time. And I'm like, no one's talking about this. And also no one's being funny about it.
Right.
So it felt like there was a real hole in the bookshelf that I was intending on filling. And yeah, I also was like, you know, there's so much stress in the wedding planning process. I want to take that stress and then refocus it onto other things, like, are you marrying the right guy? You know, just keeping it real.
Yeah. And you were marrying the right guy, I hope?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I'm like, we're divorced now.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but I'm here to give
Divorce-ulous.
advice.
Yeah.
Now, there's a big thing now where people have wedding hashtags.
Yeah.
Is that something that you were into?
I was. What I've noticed on Instagram is people try to take their last name and make a pun out of it. So like if my last name was Evans, it would be like, thank Evans I found her, like Evans to Betsy or whatever. But not all last names lend themselves to punning. Mm-hmm. My husband's last name is Black, and I was like, once I go black, like I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to do.
I think that works perfectly.
Yeah, so we were like, we'll just do Jam Dan 2016. Check it out. Feel free to scroll that when you're done
Were
here.
people, when you made the announcement that to your friends that you were getting married, were they excited? Were they happy for you?
People are so excited for you to the point where you're like, oh, you know I didn't earn this, right? Like I just orchestrated it. Like one girl was like, oh my God, Jamie, how did you know? How did you know he was the one? I was like, when I was 32 and not married. Just kind of hits you. You know, there's not a lot of puzzle piecing that goes into this. That's like saying to a first grader, like, how did you know you wanted a My Little Pony? It's like, when Brittany, Ashley, Jennifer, and Jennifer's friend got one. You know what I mean? The horse isn't that great. I just don't want to be the only bitch without something to brush. That's kind of where I'm coming from. By the way, I know it's very brave to say how old I am out loud on national television, but I just want to say that, you know, I think the problem is, like, people need to lie about their age properly. Because if I was like, guys, I'm 47, you'd be like, oh my God, you look unbelievable. But if I was like, I'm 23, you'd be like, meth. And that's why you gotta lie up. You know, you just gotta lie on up.
I assumed you were on meth. I just thought, you know, we're all in the business.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you to choose? I remember when I got married, my wife and I, there was a lot of discussion about where are we going to have this event.
Yes.
And, you know, I was like, I would want it in a bowling alley, and no, that didn't happen. But was choosing a location difficult?
It actually, choosing the location was great. We found this amazing outdoor botanical garden, and the big selling point for this venue was that they had an aviary that you walk through with all these white peacocks in the cages, and I was like, ooh, a spicy white peacocks, I'm in. Then a month before the wedding, I just had a feeling that we needed to go look at the venue one more time. Just had a hunch. So I'm walking through the aviary, and all of the cages are now empty with like feather debris, like newly empty, like it was a crime scene. Like Tweety Bird was like just eaten and the swing was still going. You know what I mean? Just like the one lone feather dripping down. And yeah, it looked like a crime scene. And then there was one cage that did still have birds in it, but they were not white peacocks. They were not doves. They were no wedding bird. They were just pigeons. Squawk begawking, rats of the sky, disgusto birds. And so I had to write the groundskeeper an email, and he wrote me back defending it. He's like, Jamie, these aren't just any pigeons, okay? These are rare Siberian McCoffey pigeons. And I was like, that is not a thing. There is no such thing as a classy pigeon. Like, that's like going to the gynecologist, and they're like, okay, you do have an STD, but it's one of the rare ones. You're like, oh boy, aren't I lucky?
One of the really cool exotic STDs.
Not a lot of people have gonorrhea, but you're keeping it alive.
Yeah.